Today we are going to see The Lady with a Lamp, Florence Nightingale. It was something new to call a girl Florence. Within 50 years, there would be thousands of girls all over the world christened Florence in honor of this baby. But in the summer of 1820, when Fanny Nightingale fixed on the name for her daughter, it was new, says Cecil Woodham Smith in her charming biography of Florence Nightingale. What did this baby, when she grew up, did that made her name such a prize word? Sometimes the daring and dedication of one person can give a new dignity to a vocation. There lay the greatness of Florence Nightingale. At a time when nursing the sick in the hospitals or in the battlefronts was in the hands of ignorant, illiterate, and irresponsible people, Florence Nightingale, with her noble example, impressed all that this work needed the most kind, considerate, and cultured hands. At a time when the rich and the educated would never allow their daughters to take up nursing, Florence, born of highly cultured, rich, and aristocratic parents, revolted against the attitude of the society and paved the way for others of her kind to take up this noble work. Florence, as her name suggests, was born in that beautiful city of Italy, Florence, where her parents had gone on a pleasure trip in 1820. She spent her childhood luxuriously with numerous servants at her beck and call, children of other noble families, and a number of pets to play with, two big houses surrounded by acres of gardens to live and play in, and loving parents who took her and her sister to show the splendors of the European countries. As Florence grew up, she became the center of attraction in the Nightingale family. Her charm and intelligence were the talk of the society in London or wherever they went. But while her parents desired her to prepare for the life of some nobleman's wife, Florence was having strange experiences within herself. She wrote in her diary when she was 16, on February 7, 1837, God spoke to me and called me to his service. Yet, years passed between her getting this inner call and her responding to it. These years were, on one hand, the years of social pleasures of parties, dances, etc. On the other hand, there were the time of intense inner conflict. Can she master the courage to break away from the conventional life, or must she submit to her parents' wish? But the year 1842 helped her to decide. It was a terrible year for England, with innumerable people dying of starvation, diseased and hungry multitudes crowding the cities. She wrote, "My mind is absorbed with the idea of the suffering of man. All that poets sing of the glories of this world seems to me untrue. All the people I see are eaten up with care or poverty or disease." She heard about Pastor Fliedner and his wife, who had set up a hospital at Kaiserwerth in Germany, where women were trained for nursing. Florence soon decided to go over there for training. It raised a storm in her family, but she bore with it and finally proceeded to Kaiserwerth. There she worked without any mercy for herself, so that she could learn every bit of the work. She was happy. She knew that she loved her work. She realized that her life's mission lay in alleviating the suffering of men. Extreme hard work made her sick. She returned to England. While she was recovering, a war broke out between Russia and England in 1854. English army landed in Crimea and besieged Sebastopol, and since then, the war became known as the Crimean War. As soon as the war began, it was found that English had made no arrangement worth the name for taking care of those who were injured while fighting. Great was the number of such people, and soon there was utter chaos. Thousands of soldiers dying due to a total lack of even a basic provision like bandaging a wound. The reporter of the Times of London, who saw the condition, wrote in his paper, "Are there no devoted women amongst us, willing and able to go forth and minister to the sick and suffering soldiers?" Well, there were many who were willing, but none who was able. The war minister received hundreds of letters from women offering their services, but he knew that there was only one woman who had the experience and the leadership which the work demanded. She was Florence, whom the minister knew well. After some hesitation, he wrote to her asking, would she accept the challenge? He received the answer even before his letter reached Florence, for in the meanwhile she had already written to him offering her assistance. The government lost no time in arranging for her departure, giving her full authority to organize her mission the way she thought best. She left for the hospital at Scutari near the battleground with a batch of about 40 women volunteers. The hospital was a huge building, but it was inferno inside and hell outside. On reaching there, Florence would found half a dozen dogs lying dead and decomposing in front of the building. Nobody cared to remove them. Rats played on the dying patients and ate chunks of their flesh. Thousands of the sick lay without blankets to protect them from cold. Florence was shocked but not disheartened. With an iron determination, she worked almost round the clock, and her example soon inspired all her assistants to follow suit. Attendants who were callous beforehand now rivaled each other in proving their worth before Florence. A.T. Quiller coach writes Florence Nightingale, after the Audleys had retired to snatch some rest, would go her round lamp in hand along the endless galleries, moving from bed to bed, her pausing to soothe the delirium of a poor fellow who fancied himself still storming Sebastopol, there asking and never forgetting the lost message of the dying. As she paused, still holding her lamp, sick men raised themselves to kiss her shadow on their pillow. No wonder that this lady with a lamp became a legend in her motherland, England, while she was still at her work, far away, unmindful of all fame. Her service gave a boost to the spirit of the soldiers as nothing else had given. Soon the war was over. Florence returned to England, but she had made history. The impact of her dedication was on the whole nation, nay, on the whole civilized world. She had given a new status to the vocation of nursing for all time to come. She was duly honored by her nation and her sovereign, Queen Victoria, but what is more, she became one of those sweet names which humanity would love to remember through the ages. Thanks for watching, friends. Support us by subscribing our channel. Thank you so much.